In this video, I'm going to show you a framework that I personally use, and I also use it with my clients in order to deal with negative comments. I'm also going to show you some examples of how you can apply this framework to different scenarios, which I think is going to be super helpful. And in the end of the video, I'm also going to show you how you can use automatic setting that Facebook has built in to automatically hide negative comments from your Facebook ads. So before I go on to show you how you can deal with negative comments, I'm going to first cover something that is really important, and that is the core reasons why people put negative comments in the first place. Because if you can diagnose the source of your issue and solve that first, then obviously you won't have to deal with negative comments anymore. So the first issue that I see appear for a lot of small businesses is that they do not have high enough ad relevancy. So when you target an audience, Facebook will give you a score dependent on how relevant your ad is to that audience that you're targeting. Now, if you're not targeting the right audience, Facebook will basically give you a low relevance score. This will increase the cost of placing your ads in front of these people, and it will also probably get you some negative comments on the ads because it's just not relevant for the people you're targeting. So the easiest way to solve this is to basically broaden out the targeting, and that way people won't see your ads too many times, so you won't annoy them with your ads, and they will probably also not put negative comments as frequently. Now, the second reason, that is a very common reason, is that the customer experience and the customer service that you provide is not good enough. Now, one way you can improve your customer service even as a really small business is by using something called Zendesk. So what you can do is basically integrate all of your social media platforms with Zendesk. So even comments, messages that you get on Facebook and Instagram will go into Zendesk and become a customer support ticket. Now, that's way easier for you to follow up when all the tickets are in one platform. You can keep them organized. And another reason why people get a lot of negative comments on their ads is because the ad is not giving them real accurate expectations for what they can expect when they actually go ahead and order the product. So this could be that the size isn't as advertised and it looks very different in the ad and when they actually get the product. It can also be that you don't have enough information on the product page and giving them enough information about what size they should get. So if they order it and it doesn't fit them, then they're gonna have a negative customer experience. So by solving these kind of issues, you're probably gonna have a lot less negative comments and it's gonna improve your results overall. So these are some ways that you can actually avoid getting negative comments in the first place. But now I'm going to go ahead and talk a bit about how you can deal with negative comments when you already have them on your ads. Now, the main thing that you need to understand about comments on Facebook ads is that it plays into something known as the horn effect. Now, this is basically the opposite of the halo effect. So when you're running ads on Facebook and Instagram, a lot of people's first impression of your business is going to be your ads. So if you have negative comments in your ads, that's going to majorly have a huge negative impact on how people perceive your business as a whole. Now, this is why it's so important to know how to deal with these comments and also deal with them quickly so you can reduce the negative impact that they have on your results. So the framework that I use for my clients when we get negative comments on their Facebook ads is basically just by asking ourselves the question, is there any way we can turn this comment into something constructive and as well reduce the perceived risk that new potential customers will have when they see the comment? So one thing to note here is that the comments on your ads is going to be seen by a lot of people if you keep running the ad and increase the spend on that ad. So when you answer a comment, if you are able to take care of a concern that some people have, and that can actually turn into that you take care of the same concern for a lot of new potential customers. So by actually keeping the comment and answering it in a way that makes you look like an honest, transparent, and professional business that handles customer concerns in a good way, then that can actually have a positive impact on your results. Now, obviously, you have to take into consideration the ratio of how many negative comments you have and how many positive comments you have, because you always want to have the majority of the comments being positive, but it's good to always have some comments that aren't necessarily positive or negative and include some of the common concerns that people have. And if you can answer them and take care of that concern, then you will take care of that concern for, hundreds of thousands of people that could potentially see this ad in the future. So take that into consideration before you hide the comment. But if there is a negative comment that is purely negative and doesn't help anyone or can be seen as constructive in any way, then you might as well just hide it. And also remember that if you get positive comments, it's always a great idea to answer them as well and give them some focus and engage with your existing existing customers, because new potential customers will see this as well. And if they see that you have a good dialogue with your existing customers, which is positive and encouraging, then it's more likely that these people are going to look at you as a trustworthy business and a credible business. So it's going to also reduce the perceived risk of doing business with you. So now I'm going to show you some examples of how you can apply this framework and how I would go about making decisions to keep or to hide comments. So the first one that you see here is someone who is basically just adding a comment and saying that people can get this product for cheaper on Amazon, downplaying the value of the product. Now, this is obviously going to have a negative impact on your business. Also, if people put in, names of your competitors, that's also going to have a huge negative impact. So these kind of comments, we just hide them. One thing to be very aware about is that if people put in, your competitors' names, people that sell your product for lower prices, then those kind of comments is for sure going to have a negative impact on your business, because as you pay for impressions, more people are going to see this comment and they're going to be aware about your competitors. Now, this actually makes it so that you pay for exposure for your competitors, which is not the ideal situation. So those kind of comments, remove them as quickly as possible. Now, this comment right here, as you can see, is an example of people putting a picture of your product where it doesn't look like it does in the ad. Now, obviously, you don't want to have a product that is totally different from what you advertise it as, but sometimes customers, they just want to sabotage your business. They want to make it seem like you're worse than what you actually are. And in that case, obviously, just hide those comments. They're not going to have a positive effect on your results. It's going to be really hard to answer them in a constructive way. Now, this is a type of comment where someone has just commented on the shipping time, but they haven't actually ordered the product. In this case, as you see, one existing customer actually answered that concern by putting in a comment and saying that she actually received it pretty quickly. So in this case, it could be a good idea to just keep the comment, because the concern is there, so people will recognize the concern, but they will also see the answer from an existing customer, which will take care of this concern for them. So it could be a good idea to keep it, but if you see it affects your results negatively, you could also just hide it. Now, this is a more obvious example where it's just negative, purely negative. There is no way to actually answer this and turn it into a positive, constructive conversation. So you might as well just hide it. Now, here's another example of where someone has a concern, but you can actually answer it and deal with it in a good way. So you are perceived as a business that do handle your customers' concerns in a professional manner. So in this comment right here, she first starts off by saying that she loves the product, and then she states the issue that she had with it. In this case, it's very good to keep the comment, because obviously people might have this concern that this could happen. And then you just answer by telling them to send an email and you'll get that handled for them. This is an example of one comment that could be positive to actually keep and not hide. Now, here's another example of someone who is trying to be funny. Now, for some business owners, you might want to remove these type of comments, but if it's humor and if it starts a discussion in your ads, what we see is that when it increases the engagement on your ads, it increases the click-through rate, and it also improves the overall results. So yeah, you might want to remove this. Of course, it depends on what's being said, but this one is not harmful in any way, in my opinion, and it creates a lot of humor. As you can see, people are reacting to this comment, so it increases the engagement. So it could be a good idea to keep it. As a business owner, you probably don't have the time to spend all time just reading comments and dealing with all the negative comments that you get. So there's actually a way you can automate this process with one of Facebook's built-in settings. So I'm going to show you the two ways of doing this, both for the classic page and the new page experience. So depending on what kind of Facebook page you have now, we'll show you both ways of how you can set this up. So first of all, you want to go into your Facebook page. Then what you want to do, up in the right corner, you want to click on your page profile photo. And then you want to hit settings and privacy. Then you want to go into the settings. And then once we get in here, what you want to do is go to privacy. Once you are on privacy, you want to go to public posts. And then you want to scroll down here until you see content moderation. First thing you want to do is put in all the phrases and keywords that you want to remove. So if someone put in the specific phrase and the word that you specify here, the comment will automatically be hidden. So examples of this could be bad, which is a negative word. So you can click this one. Sucks. Another one you can have is cheap. Another one you can have is slow, and then go on and on. Basically what you want to do is look at what is the typical negative comments that you get, and then see what words and phrases they're using. Then you can put them in here. Also, if you do have some competitors, you can put in some of their competitors here. So for example, Amazon, you could put that in here, and if people say that they can get your product for cheaper on Amazon, they will probably use the word Amazon in the comment, and that comment will not longer be visible. So once you have done this, you want to basically just click save, and then you want to go down to profanity filter, and you want to take this one on and click save as well. Once you've done that, you've set this up. So that's how you do it for the new page experience. If you still have a classic Facebook page, I will now show you how you can do that on the classic Facebook page. So first of all, you want to go onto your Facebook page. Then on the left hand here, you want to go down to settings. Now, once you're in the general settings, you want to scroll down until you see what's called content moderation. So you want to go in here, and then basically you want to do the same process. So you put in all of the words, and then you click add, search, etc. You put them all in. You can also upload a CSV. Then you click save. And then once you've done that, you go into profanity filter, you tick this one on and click save changes. Now, once you've done that, you will basically automate some of the process of, dealing with negative comments, and make sure you update the negative keyword list once you see that you get new type of words added in as comments, and you keep optimizing this list of negative words and phrases. So to summarize the key point of this video, negative comments can have a huge negative impact on the results for your business. So make sure that you deal with them as quickly as possible, and make sure you use a framework to deal with them consistently the right way. And if you can deal with the comments in a way that reduces the perceived risk for new potential customers, then that's a great way to actually deal with the comments. So don't just hide them, make sure you do a good evaluation of if you should keep it or remove it. If it's purely negative and it serves no purpose being there, just remove it, and add the negative words and phrases that are being used into your content moderation setting. So please let me know in the comments of this video if you found this helpful. I've worked with a lot of small business owners, and it might be emotional and a bit of an energy draining process of dealing with negative comments. So if you have experience with this, make sure you leave a comment down below and tell us about it so we can help each other out. And if you want more Facebook ads and e-commerce videos like this, make sure you leave me a like on this video and also subscribe for future videos. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.